groaning for 20 minutes, and that's how it starts.
No, this is what the audience loves. They
the
love
groan would
this.
also take up that time because remember, you don't want to say we're live right away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because then the beginning gets cut off.
Yeah.
So let us know when we are live.
We've been live.
British.
Yeah, we've been
I'm
live.
British, so that's what we do. We are world champion groaners.
Okay, well, that one if you're a world champion podcast opening line person.
Stairs.
Whatever. Shall I start?
Yes.
Let's go. This is the Literary Roadhouse. One short story once a week. I'm Gerald.
I'm Andy.
And I'm the Anais.
Why not? Well, just spice things up. This week we have been reading Soon It Will Be Over by Laura Perkins. If you haven't read it yet, pause the podcast, go and read it. It's only about 4,000 words and come back. And I'm just saying sorry. This is a story about Katie. Who's a dreary person who lives a dreary life with a dreary family and no friends. She lives in Cheyenne, which sounds pretty dreary, but I'm sure it's not. Anyway, she works in a call center for a retail store where the water isn't fit to drink. She lives in a flat which probably has lead in the pipes, or the paint, or both. She split from her boyfriend when she suggested they should. Her sister Shelby, her sister Shelby split from her boyfriend after he slapped her during an argument. Katie has a newspaper route because she needs the money. She meets Shelby for dinner, where Shelby announces she's back talking to her boyfriend Ryan. Later, Katie starts texting intimate pictures of herself and the apartment and her dog's collar to her old boyfriend. And the last 6 words are, I wait for something to happen. Yeah.
So, Gerald, how did you feel about the story?
Okay. Now then, I'm a very, very strong protagonist. Protagonist? No, something else. Proponent or something. I love Carve magazine and
Procedure.
A fan.
You're making stuff up now. A fan.
You're a fan of Carve magazine.
I push it, so it's a pro. Anyway.
Evangelist.
Proposer.
Pro-evangelist.
Proselytizer.
Proselytizer, that's a good one.
Prostitute, yeah. I'm a prostitute.
They don't pay you, so you can't be a prostitute. Or not a very
that's
good
true. So I like Carve magazine, but too many stories are like this. It's really well written. It's very, it's great, and there's all lots of technical tips, and this is how you should write a story. But it's so flipping dreary. It's. I don't know. I mean, I don't like happy stories by and large, but this is just so everything is down. There should be light and shade. There should be positives and negatives. There should be ups and downs. It's just down and down and down. And it starts with the water being yellow and full of stuff, and then it just sort of stays there. And then she's texting these pictures and he doesn't reply like he usually does. And I just think it's there is nothing positive in this in the story itself. The writing, yes, very good writing, well done. But it's we read too many of these now. We read too many stories that are really well written, well constructed, but there's just nothing. It's a slice of life. There's nothing that. Whoa, I was waiting for something to happen. I was waiting for some sort of kickstart towards the end that you have a sort of bounce along the bottom of this not very interesting, dreary story, and you wait for something, and then a alien turned up or something. I don't know, but no,
like a magical realism.
Like a magical realism. You want something like that to happen.
It's funny because of how Gerald's favorite genre is magical realism.
I wouldn't go that far. So that's what I think about the story.
Okay, so Andy, what did you think?
Okay, I know vaguely what Annie thought also. So I don't want to come too strong on the side of I loved it because I didn't love it. But I feel like I might be the only positive voice in this conversation.
Wow.
I liked it just fine. I thought it was funny, and it's pretty good.
What was funny?
You're making a face. Look, okay, like
Penguins.
the second line. The fluorescent bulb catches the pale urine glow. And I was like, you son of a bitch, I'm in. All right.
That's not funny though. It's
It's
interesting.
hilarious. It's funny.
What?
Makes the water look like urine, like pee, like the bodily functions.
We sort of get it, but
I'm in. No, there are a couple of those. Wait, hold on. There's a couple lines. I made a little note of them. Here's my little thing. When she was delivering papers and the guy called the cops on her and she was terrified and stuck alone in her car and she called the police because some weird guy was following her and the cop said, honest mistake.
Mm-hmm.
You guys aren't laughing. I don't get it. You don't
no, we're not.
know how jokes work, I guess.
Yeah. This is strange. I thought you would hate this. I thought you'd really be very depressed about it. But you're not.
No, I thought it was real funny.
Okay.
There's another one near the end too. But like in general, just like it was too depressing. It was so depressing. That's like hilarious.
Was it like sort of black humor that it's it's so downbeat that it becomes funny?
It started down here, right? And then where's my hand? Here. Now if you're on the camera, you can see it. Started down here, which is pretty down. So then every time it went lower, it was like, okay, you're already.
Wow.
But I don't know. Like I said, though, I didn't love it. It wasn't my favorite story in the world, but I liked it just fine. It was, and the writing was really well put together. It was a really quick read, and it was hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah. No. I just no. I agree that the writing was very good. I thought the opening was really strong because I thought it was going to go somewhere else. When I saw the opening, I thought it was going to be a much more focused story about a very anxious, almost OCD person. It almost felt like that. Like I thought I'm supposed to be taking cues from the people around her, Claudia. Right when I thought I'm supposed to be I'm like, this is a very anxious, unreliable narrator, and the people around her are telling me the truth. And then that's not what happened.
No,
and
the people around her are idiots.
Are all idiots. And I'm like, wait a minute. And I think when that started happening, I think the thing that bothered me the most about the story is it felt like, and I've said this a few episodes ago, there's this like kind of modern trope right now where it's like, it's an essay dressed up as fiction. Like it's just really social political commentary and a little bit of therapizing, and it's very navel gazing. And we do this all the time on the internet, on all social media platforms. If you read a lot of news, this is like they'll do profiles on people and it's all this kind of stuff. So it just feels like we're saturated with this, and now you're packaging it up as fiction, but it doesn't really feel like fiction. And I guess like there was a time where, oh, you've hit on something very true and very recognizable, and that was the goal of the writing. But now it's like, we don't need more of this. Like there is already so much of this. This story has been told with real people a bajillion times. Telling it to me again with Katie doesn't actually add anything, doesn't say anything about it, and I'm just exhausted. And it's not like that the writer did anything necessarily wrong. This is like in vogue, but I'm like, man, like thinking about this period right now, like I'm thinking in the future when people look back and they see like this is like the literary modern writing right now, where it's basically essays dressed as fiction. It feels a bit like it's a bit boring. Like this is everything that we're saturated with, including in nonfiction, right? Like this is the stuff you see all over social media. This is what's basically captured in tweet threads, and it's just like, why? Like why? Yeah.
It's
so
not
anyway,
like
that's just
yeah. It's not like there's a jokey character or a a village idiot or something that comes into it and just bing lights it all up and provides that contrast to her sort of downbeat misery memoir type thing. And I just think there's no high points, there's no positivity, it's just standard down. As Andy said, it's like starts here and then goes down and back up again, and then there's no you want a little bit of it. It would have been fine if there'd been a kooky girlfriend or her mother was a bit, a little bit sort of just a bit of a hippie or something like that just to brighten it up and provide contrast. But no, it's just.
Yeah, I don't even know if I agree with that specifically. I don't know if it's a lack of a kooky character or something different or something. I agree with what you're saying, where like you need shades, and that's what you're getting at. I agree with the shades, but I don't know if that's necessarily the prescription I would give it. I would say focus on a particular thing that you care about, and then do something interesting with it. It just this sort of like essay on this particular kind of American poverty is real, and I recognize it as real, and it totally sucks, but we get this all the time. So what was the point of this particular retelling of the thing we're seeing over and over and over and over? So it's like, that's why I was like, if you focus on which is what I thought the beginning was going to do, focus on one thing and then lean into that, or do something with that. Maybe add some magical realism. I don't know. Maybe all of a sudden there's some fantasy. Like, remember the story we really liked, which had the depressing social commentary with the library and the witches, but did something very focused with it and then focused on the escapism of fiction. That'd be great right now, because this sort of like, it's really just like navel gazing. That's what it is. And that's everything on the internet right now, and it just makes me like, it makes me navel gaze on this podcast. Like, that's what I'm doing right now, talking about my frustrations with this.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct, and we've read this type of story several times, and mostly I've hated them. I think this was a really good one. I think this is a very good instance of the thing. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm just totally saturated on the thing. I don't think it was bad. Like, the writing was good. There were some really nice moments. The prose really just came right off the page very easily. It flowed. It was quick. It carried you along. There was no problems with pacing. Like, all that stuff was good. But I'm just so burnt out on this trope right now, which is like, and Gerald was saying we've been reading a lot of these. We've been reading a lot of modern fiction. Why is this the thing right now? Like, I'm burnt out on it.
Different stories, modern.
Yeah.
And people are. I'm just going to go to all the sci-fi journals now. They're the only one, like, yes. I'm going to go read some more fantasy, because the literary like journals right now are doing a lot of this, and it's very depressing. I mean, a few years ago, we read the one about that had commentary on like gender roles in society, which was the one in Thailand with the monster, the women with the floating intestines, the like vampire.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. That's a good one.
So, yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, you don't need a kooky character. You just need a point. It can't just be regurgitating this thing, which is true. You're absolutely correct. But why? Anyway, that's my rant.
Yeah. That's right. I mean, I just, I wasn't necessarily looking for a kooky character, but I just think if say the mother had been an old hippie and she, we know she smokes dope, but if she'd been a bit sort of, a bit more unusual, a bit more
not just
different,
not just another depressive, perhaps idiot character.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
we got like 7 of them already.
Yeah,
he was a different kind of weirdo.
Well, we read that thing with the guy who wrote the guy who ran the business making mail order catalogs.
Yeah,
and there wasn't a lot of sort of positivity about that, but it was different. It had a purpose. It had a point. And this is just, here's my life. I do this. The water's rubbish. The apartment's rubbish. my sister's rubbish, my boyfriend's rubbish. It's just, and what? So, I'm just telling you. So, yeah, I wondered if, maybe, they had that little thing at work, didn't they? That little message from her boss, which telling him to smile, and if you smile, you'll be happier. And right at the end, she practices grinning, and then
and like I said, Gerald, I agree. Like positivity could have been one way to fix this, but going back to other modern authors, maybe we're the only people we should be reading right now until this phase passes. Like for example, I really love Carmen Maria Machado, and she's not doing anything happy. Like it's never anything happy, but it's inventive, it's imaginative, and it's focused with a point, but it's not just an essay disguised as fiction. She's putting it, like, remember the one with the ribbon that the women wear?
Yes.
Right? Just add in something. There's nothing really funny about that story ever, but it's and it had like the like directions, like the stage notes.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, do something different. Do something, make a point, like have a thing that cut your hand in this part. Like all of that was so cool. Yeah. So from now on, we're only reading Carmen Maria Machado and Anthony Doerr, because also The Hunter's Wife. So good.
Yes. That was great. I did some review of short stories, and I told the guy to read that Hunter's Wife, because he's writing about stories based in a place in Canada, and then the place is a character, and I thought, read that story, because that's about making the place a character. Really strong. I loved that story. It was really good. I probably didn't like it at the time, but I liked it.
I think we all gave it like 6s or something. That one was very positive.
Okay.
Yeah, but that one also, or another one that's about a story being a place. Breeze DJ Pancake, the one in West Virginia about the coal mining town. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Extremely dreary, but it was so focused, and it was doing something, and it had something to say other than just repeating dreariness.
Is that the one where they lived in a caravan
trailer?
Yeah. Trailer, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And he hunts the doe at the end, and the doe is pregnant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just
and that's about a place.
Just bang. Yeah. Just. Yeah.
I guess that's just it. And I feel bad, because with this particular story, the author didn't do anything wrong. I think we're just reading so much of these that I'm just like, I can't.
Well, just before we came on, while I was mistakenly waiting for you to post the link that you'd already posted, I went back and looked at the summary, and I thought, this is an author's put a lot of work into this. So I took some of the rather sarcastic commentary out of the summary, because it's not fair. And she's she's got it in Carve magazine, which is somebody must rate it. But yeah, like you say, it's
you can tell that it was very well written, took a lot of time. I guess I'm just saying the issue isn't the story itself. It's more like there's something in this moment right now that is just right. Like she's doing the moment right now well. To Andy's point, right? Like this is a good version of this thing, but I'm just like, I reject the thing entirely.
We know the thing exists. We know there's the antithesis to the sort of celebrity culture and the Instagram culture and the fast cars and the money and all that sort of stuff. And we know there is an alternative life to that, which maybe this is what people are trying to do, saying, don't forget there's tough stuff happening with
but that's just as visible, isn't it? It's extremely visible. And maybe that's the thing. Like for a long time, when we weren't so connected, we weren't in this information age, you needed these kinds of stories to highlight something that wasn't in the big public consciousness as much.
Yes.
That's not the case anymore. Everything's in the public consciousness right now. So you got to do more than just say a thing that is true, because the truth is like, there's a lot of untruths. There's a lot of lies out there too, but like all of this, like this churn is just there all the time. And Yeah.
It's like
Anyway.
we over here saw the story about, is it Jackson, with the water problems that they can't get mains water and they have to have bottled water shipped in. That was a big story over here. It's so yeah, you're right. We all know pretty much what's going on in Pakistan, in terrible floods over in Pakistan, and thousands died and all that sort of stuff. So we know the bad stuff is there. Just don't want to read about it anymore. Not in fiction.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying. Like in this story, right? The water thing, we know. Call center jobs are soul sucking. We know. Bad managers got it. That's probably the funniest part, honestly, was the manager who's bleaching their teeth between meetings. Having to take a second job, barely getting enough sleep in order to make rent. Yeah, it sucks, and it's a moral failing of our society, and we know that cops really are there just to protect property owners. Yeah, conversation that is being had on social media every day. Like basically, it's why I'm like, you're saying all these things, but you're saying all these things at the same level we're saying them all the time every day. Especially if you're someone like me who's like kind of like really like plugged into that kind of conversation anyway. So it's like, so I was like, pick one and then just go deep and get more inventive. Yeah. Especially when you have all these great skills, you're going to pull it off.
And we don't really learn much about her character, do we? It's all about her surroundings and what she does and who she speaks to. We don't really sort of understand much about her character as the main character. And she could have gone deeper with that, I think.
And the things we do learn about her also have that essay-like quality of like, let me expose my flaws in a way that everyone understands happens and is true. And again, doesn't go deep enough, right? Like the whole like her being messy and sending her ex intimate photos. That's another thing that I feel like we've seen, right? Or like the passive aggressive liking of the ex's new girlfriend. Okay. Yeah.
I bet Andy thought that was funny.
I didn't think that was funny.
Yeah.
But like, going back to like modern authors who I think like are a bit more focused, I feel like Jennifer Egan would just focus on the Instagram part of it. She would just focus on that, and then she would get real crazy with it, and she would put in a little sci-fi element and just go brr, and just kind of like, right? She would just focus on that. Anyway, maybe that's what it needs.
Something. Yeah. It is what it is.
So
also, when Shelby said being happy is a choice, I was like, yeah. True. Facts. Listen to Shelby. Shelby, don't get with Ryan, but otherwise, doing all right.
Yeah, but Ryan's got a good job.
Yeah, he does. And it allows her to go back to school and become a teacher. Yeah. So that's good.
And treat her sister.
How financial distress traps people in domestic violence. Another thing we talk about on social media.
That's true. Good point.
I'm just burnt out on it. And it's not this author's fault, so I feel really bad for ranting. Because this author is not the torrent of it. They are just one tiny story that they wanted to write. They wrote very, very well. But I'm here with the torrent in my face. So
I think we've been
into the fire hose.
Yeah, exactly. And I understand this is one water droplet, and you can't blame the one water droplet, but I'm done with the fire hose.
I think we've been reasonably fair with her and complimented her on the writing, and it does what it does really well, but it just, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say if you added in a vampire, I wouldn't be excited. So
could benefit from vampire. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe that's how she deals with, not getting enough sleep. Be a vampire. Don't worry about it.
Maybe.
Also, all
vampires are overplayed. What about a manticore? You don't see manticores enough anymore.
Not enough manticores in our fiction. This is true. These are all, great points that we're making.
What's a manticore? I don't know.
I believe it's a Persian monster with the body of a lion and the tail of a scorpion and the head of a person and wings of a bat.
I thought it was wings of an eagle.
Could be wings of an eagle. Could be
bat.
Okay.
Now I want to look it up. I know. I was like, I know it's a hodgepodge of body parts, but I forgot. Oh, you're right. It is wings of. Well, the wings seem to change depending who drew it. Based on my quick Googling.
There's some wing options.
Yeah, but it's mostly bats. Most of these are bats, and sometimes it still keeps the lion head sometimes, but normally it's a creepy, like the mane and then like a human, but it still has
like
the fang.
like Ron Perlman from 1980's Beauty and the Beast.
Sometimes the really old pictures don't give them wings, so the wing seems to be a new fantasy addition. The original doesn't seem to have the wing.
I think that's right, actually.
Yeah. The scorpion tail is the best part.
Oh, yeah.
And in Dungeons and Dragons, I think they shoot quills from the scorpion tail for a little missile damage, little range.
Because having a scorpion tail isn't enough.
It's never enough.
No, because the thing about this, because you've got this flying creature, but then if he doesn't have any range, he's got to come in every time, and he's a kind of low-level monster.
Well, probably he's got flyby attack.
Yeah, actually, I don't think so.
Move, attack, and keep.
I'm pretty sure we took one out all second level while being on the side of a cliff, so they're not that hard.
Yeah. Well, there's greater manticores.
True. Gerald, it's really important that you play more fantasy games so you can understand what Andy and I are talking about.
No, it's not.
Very important. Very important.
No, it's not important at all. No.
Yeah, the story could use more manticores.
Yeah.
Robots.
Yeah.
Maybe something happens with Bert the Beagle,
Yeah.
That's another thing we know about, pandemic dogs who aren't used to being home alone. Another thing we've heard about that was also included in the story.
Right, it from Bert the
Kong
Beagle's
toys with peanut butter
point of view. It's Bert the Beagle's story. That would be something. How does he feel about this? Hey.
Bert is not doing okay.
No.
Poor Bert.
Yeah.
Bert should probably go live with the mom, to be honest. Bert and the mom would make a great team.
Yeah, they get along.
Okay.
We done?
I think so.
30 minutes we've been recording. Crikey.
Yeah. Let's skin this smoke wagon.
All right, let's do ratings.
That's what I just said.
I'm doing 3.
Yeah. Ditto.
I'm going to give it a 4.
Okay. Cool. So, Gerald, Andy, what are we reading next week?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's me. Well, we're reading a great story.
I'm banned.
This story
not
has
banned, but
an author, and it also has a title, and I'm going to tell you each of those.
That's exciting. I can't wait.
Not necessarily in that order.
Okay.
We're reading
just the avant-garde.
The story is titled You Tell Me, and also it has an author.
Oh my goodness,
Andy, name is Claire Sestanovich.
Oh.
Okay.
I had it pulled up on my other thing.
Okay. But before you go, tell us which shopping network infomercials have tempted you the most in our Facebook discussion group, the Literary Roadhouse Readers. And we, like Katie, hope to win the lottery. Until then, support us by leaving a review on iTunes and contributing to our podcast expenses at patreon.com/Literary Roadhouse. Every bit helps. And as always, share this podcast with your ex's new partner's Instagram comments section. Until next time, read a good story.
Very good.